Let's apply what we've learned about derivatives of inverse functions. Example 2. Let f and g be inverse functions such that f has the function and derivative values shown in the table. Now, from the given information, find each of the following if possible. This table right here of organizing your information, this comes straight from Gary himself. This is the best way to do these problems. And even when you get the AP test, I would suggest making a table like this. When you, on all of your assignment, make tables like this. Anytime you find derivatives of inverse functions, make a table like this. Start with f of x points. So the points for f of x are negative 1, 1, 0, 2, and 1, 5. And we get that up here from the table. Now that means the inverse points, because g is the inverse, are going to be 1, negative 1, 2, 0, and 5, 1. For an inverse, just flip the x and y's. Now the slope at this first point was 3 halves. The slope at the second point is 2, and the slope at the third point is 1 half. And that just comes from the third column in this table. And we just learned that the slope of an inverse function is the reciprocal. So this one will be 2/3, this will be 1 half, and this will be 2 over 1, or 2. Now that we have this table filled in, answering A through E is way easier. So let's try g prime of 1. Well, I go to my g column, find x equals 1, and I want g prime, so I want the slope. So that's going to be 2/3. G prime of 2. So I'm going to go to my g column, find 2, and it's prime, so I want the slope, 1 half. G prime of 3. So go to my prime column, find 3. I don't have a 3 in here. So we're going to say cannot be found. Now, a lot of teachers would say you could say it's undefined. Gary himself said, don't, stay away from that, because it could be defined, it's just not in the points we're given. So we're just saying it can't be found in this table. Okay, g prime of 0. Go to the g column, try to find 0 for x. Not there, so that one cannot be found. And E, g prime of 5. So g column, find 5. G prime, so I want the derivative. It's going to be 2. Okay, let's try example number 3, last one. If f of 3 equals 28, where f of x equals that, find f inverse prime. So once again, I'm going to make the same table that I had up here, where on the left I have the original, on the right I have the inverse. I'm going to list the point that's given to me, f of 3 equals 28. If you weren't given 28, you could just plug 3 in to get 28. So the inverse one is going to be 28, 3. Now I need to find the slope at this point. Well, that's not given to me, but I can find it. I know that I can find the derivative of this. Should be 3x squared minus 2. And then I'm going to plug 3, my x value, into this. So I've got f prime of 3 should equal 3 squared is 9 times 3 minus 2 is 25. So the slope at this point should be 25, which means the slope at the inverse should be 1 over 25. Now, those are the only points given to me in this problem, so I don't need to add any more points to my table. Now I want f inverse prime of 28. So I'm going to go to find f inverse, go down the column, find 28, and it's prime, so I want the slope. So f inverse prime of 28 is going to be 1 over 25. Okay, that's it for 3.5. Go ahead and get started on your assignment.